G'day punters, welcome back to Rapid Fire from the new digs. Got John Walter here from racingwatch.com.au and Jason as a party from Sydney, not doing Melbourne, but helping us with the Sydney predictions this week. How you going, boys?
Well, he's well schooled. He got that off mute straight away there. I thought I was waiting for him to muck it up.
How do you know?
I'm well. How are you, Jason?
I'm fantastic. I'm a bit of a return fall from grace last week after with that track being very leaderish. Gave quite a few of the horses I liked, none on the day. But thanks to PD, who got me on tonight's order, which was a good result for me during the day. But, other than that, there's a lot of that form just throwing in the bin. It was just so hard to make ground.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Hopefully we'll get some gold this week for you, punters. We've got 5 races to cover from Randwick. We've got a couple of bonus ones thrown in just simply because the Group 1s, there's only 2 on the card. There's no Group 2. So we're going to start with the Frank Packer Plate Race 3. But before we talk about that, John, the track, the weather, it looks like it's finding up in Sydney, Jason, and no rain predicted and pretty light winds. I'd suggest a drying track and slow at worst. Obviously, we'll monitor it. The 8-metre rail is an unusual rail position. There's only been, I think, 4 meetings in the last 3 years. There's not a lot to go by in terms of reference. The last meeting, it was totally cast on the inside. At the 8-metre rail in the previous meeting, it was dynamite fence and on pace. So, look, we'll start off on the basis that we think it might play fair and just keep an eye on it during the day. And, with the drying track and so forth, hopefully all runners will get their chance. And but then again, it still might also favour leaders, or horses racing up on the speed anyway. So we'll start off with the Frank Packer Plate over 2,000. John, what's the market from Top Sport?
Whoa, hang on, let me just make that part of the screen. Our friends at Top Sport, Straight Aaron, even money. Lukey Luke, it's been well back. 17 into 12. Inverell 13. Jal Murray 13. Morris is my dad 13. War Eternal 14. Raging Bull 16. 20s. Bon Vivant 21. Field Legend 21. Paternal $31. The rest plus.
Who wants to start here, guys? There's not much to say. I suppose we've got a short price favourite in Straight Aaron, who was ultra impressive, beating a bunch of B graders. Fair enough, but it did run some serious sectionals, and to me, I think this horse is well and truly on the up and can account for its in better grade. Look, I think it's a genuine odds-on chance, and assuming the track is fair and runners can make ground, then I think it's going to be very, very difficult to beat. I do think War Eternal with the blinkers on might go better than what it has recently, and outside that there's probably only Inverell and Jal Murray who might fight it out for the placings, but does look the winner clearly for me.
Yeah, I was just a little bit worried about where it's going to get to. Obviously, I'm in complete agreement. If it's a fair and reasonable surface and it has even luck, it's probably an odds-on chance. I 100% agree with that. I actually found the horse there's been a bit of specking for in Lukey Luke, just because it was a bit of a new kid on the block. I like stayers on the up when they're still green and showing improvement start to start and still putting their rivals away. And this horse has done that nearly its last 2 wins it has, and it looks like it's going to get a soft lead here. I don't know what they'll do with War Eternal with blinkers, but I think Lukey Luke will definitely roll forward and get a really soft run on speed. I don't know where they'll go with Straight Aaron from the gate. It might be tempting for them to ride it out of its pattern, being drawn outside Lukey Luke, but regardless, whatever they decide, I think it'll run really well. I thought they were the two. Just so many tired horses behind.
Do we just keep an eye out for the Waller change of tactics 5 minutes before the race?
Yeah.
There's just one other I found here. I thought Straight Aaron was clear top pick. The only other one I could entertain was actually Raging Bull. 4 of its last 5 starts have been in Group 1s. The other one was a Group 2. And first up in that Hobartville, I thought it ran really well. Took my eye by an Animo, thought up in trip, this horse is going to do something. It ran a really good 4th in the VRC Derby. Then struck 2 really heavy tracks in the Randwick Guineas and the Derby. David Payne back in distance. Just thought at the price here, I would be having something each way on it too. But the favourite top pick, and I had Raging Bull as behind it.
It certainly had excuses, Raging Bull. I mean, it was not suited drawing wide last time. It was taken back. It sat wide first up there, pretty much throughout the race, had no cover. So yeah, I can see why you might sort of say that, and it does have a little bit of form there behind Hitotsu in the Vic Derby there last spring. So you couldn't rule it out of contention. So it'd be interesting to see what the market does with this horse.
Yeah, I just thought $16 were big overs. I just thought there was a lot of convictions on the others. Either got smacked by the fave, or just where were they? They just looked a bit washed up to me, like the top two and that sort of thing. So
considering we got back last start too, and it was 4 weeks between runs, 800 metres up in trip. Even that's enough to spec it at odds.
Yeah, so I just thought that. I will admit I didn't even look at Lukey Luke's replays. I just saw Gwenda and Hawkesbury and just said that'll do me. But I didn't bother looking there.
I sort of had the impression that it might be suited by a step up in trip Lukey Luke in easier grey, and I'd be surprised if it featured. But you never know. I've marked it sort of 33-1 sort of thing. I respect the fact that it's shorter than that. With the favourite, though, I suppose the thing I'd be recommending you do, punters, is look at races 1 and 2. There does look to be genuine speed in both those races, and see whether or not horses are able to run on and make ground, and if the track looks fair. And if it is fair, then by all means, I think the current quote is not unreasonable. However, if it looks like there's difficulty making ground, or there's some sort of question mark in regards to that, then I wouldn't be taking the odds on. I'd be probably staying out of the race. Okay, let's move on to race 4, which is the Champagne Stakes. Short price favourite here. To me, She's Extreme looks the leader, and Fireburn going for the Triple Crown, and looks who's going to argue that it can't do it?
Back out to 160, which is interesting. I thought I saw 145 out to 160, back into about 150, but it's back out to 160. $3.90 She's Extreme, $8 Williamsburg, the Shelby 66 of the 2-year-olds, $12 Let's Roll the Dice, $20 Count the Headlights, 101 Wealthy Investor.
What do we do with Williamsburg here? 6th up, 7-day back up, Ryan stable. It sort of goes against script, doesn't it, for most of his runners deep into a prep?
It does, like as in most horses of his are cooked by this stage, and considering what it's had to run through, and it hasn't really done a lot. It's been well suited. I'd be extraordinarily surprised if it went with Fireburn.
Yeah, look, I think the favourite just wins, but I concede that if Williamsburg ran to its numbers, it would potentially be a chance to run second in this race ahead of She's Extreme, who does look the obvious second pick. But look, I wouldn't want to bet against the favourite, but I wouldn't want to take the current price either. I think I'd want a little bit more as a premium before we sort of start chiming in. But we'll see what happens with the market. Jason, what do you think about the race?
Nothing to add. I think it was too short. Fireburn at $2 last start, got out to 280. I backed it. If you could get evens on Saturday, I'd have a bet. Otherwise, I'll just watch it and see if we can see a Triple Crown winner.
Be nice if we could get evens. Okay.
You weren't going to get 280 last start either, though. That was quite surprising.
Yeah, it was surprising. I mean, it was, 260, 270 to $1.90, and then got back out to around the 6 to 4.13 to 8 mark late. Maybe it was just the connections that were providing resistance there, but I think it was pretty impressive what it did all the same. Moving on to race 6, the Hallmark. Looks like a good sprint race this, John. What have we got in terms of market?
Another short price favourite, Big Parade, 175, has been back since prices went up. $8.50 Kementari, $9 Gemsong, $9.50 Count to Rupee, $11 Quantico, $11 Signore Fox, $12 for Tuest, and $26 Trumbull.
Who wants to start off here? Jason?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I did the race, and as usual, I do my form before I look at the prices, and sort of thought Big Parade was a go-to, and my jaw literally hit the table when I saw $1.75. So then I went back and just thought, why? And it's just no speed. there's absolutely no speed in this race. Par just looks to dictate, and it was a really good run in the Galaxy first up. It sort of, if you look at its last 3 starts, when it won that Sydney Stakes, it did look like it went to a new level. Beat Kementari that day, who was in 4th. So I'm just not sure there's anything here. Trumbull, is basically been cooked and was all pretty average first start. Signore Fox was awful first start. Think it needs dry. Quantico's got ability, but ratings here, it's hard. Count to Rupee was, is it a 1,200 metre horse? And I think Fatus is not really up to them. So I can see why it's short. I can't take $1.75 it for me just as a horse, because it's one of those ones. Some days it really disappoints. Remember that Kembla Grange day? I can see why it's favoured. But I thought the only 2 winning chances were it and Gemsong. I thought Gemsong was fantastic first up. It was a big price, and I thought I think it's $7. Is it with Top Sport tomorrow? You go through its form. It's been a really consistent performer at just below that Group 1 level. It's run 3rd in the Theo Marks by an Arcadia Queen, 2nd in a Shannon, 1 in Newcastle Newmarket. They're decent. Running 5th in a George Ryder. The horse goes really good. It was a little bit disappointing last prep, but I thought it was great first up. So Gem Song each way for me is the only bet I could have in the race.
John?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what Jason says. Like, it's just going to get so much control, but it's not a horse. It is a lot better, a consistent horse since it's been gelded. Big Parade, but he's still not a horse you want to take 175 about, but he's just going to get so many favours. Even Gemsong, I tried to find it because I thought it did run very well on similar conditions, but it's going to be last, close enough to it. And I can't knock it each way, but I couldn't back it with confidence to beat a horse that's going to be up on speed and can rip home a strong 600 when it gets control, and it should get it. So I expect it to win, but it's not a 175 loss for me.
Yeah, look, the odds do look a bit skinny, but I still think it's the dominant winning chance. It's the one I'm going to go with. Look, if we got slightly better prices, I'd be all over it. It is obviously the map that is making it that price, and I say it wins. Look, I thought Kementari's trial on the pro ride was pretty good in terms of sectionals. It ran some slick closing sectionals. In respect to all the other heats that day, over that 740 at Warwick Farm. And look, Nash did sort of manage to win on this horse 2 runs back on a heavy track there at Doomben. And obviously it's not the old Kementari, but even if it ran up to that form, in what it posted at Doomben, I think it's a genuine chance here. And I can see that Gem Song's the other one. So they're the only 3 that you could possibly entertain. It'd be nice to be able to back them all, to be honest, and just tie the race up. And who knows what price the favourite will get to. But, they bet 8 to 1, I think, Kementari, and 9 to 1 Gem Song. So, and I think Tabcorp bet $10 each of the pair as well. So they're my plays. I'm going Big Parade, Kementari, Gem Song in that order, and I'm going to try and get on all of them.
Next.
Okay, race 7, we have the JRA Plate here over 2,000 metres. What's our market?
440 into 420. I'm assuming that's a scratching. Ice Bath is Polygrade 440, Maroney $5, Maximal $6, Brutality $8.50, Numerian $11, Cucaracha $15, 20 Estefani 26 Purple Sector, 100's the bottom 2, Papalino and Cryptogram. I'll go first here because I have absolutely no clue whatsoever. I've wanted to find Harmony Rose by default, even though it hates the conditions just because of the way she won that race at Albury. Now that it's scratched, I will not be watching the race.
All right, that's easy. Jason, what's your view?
Well, my jaw just did drop a little bit too, because Harmony Rose was the one I found. I didn't know it was scratched, and I spent about an hour on this race, so I'm filthy. Spewing. Okay.
Looks like it's up to me.
Yeah,
I was worried. I was just talking to the trainer 10 minutes ago and said, how do you think she'll run? I didn't know it was scratched.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Look, I guess a couple of things, I guess, considering I spent so long on the race, I'll just point out a couple of things I found. I found it extraordinary that Ice Bath has won $4.3 million in prize money and has never won even a listed race, let alone a group race. Phenomenal. Couldn't believe that. There's got to be a good set weights with penalties race for her somewhere. I think, John, you should offer your services to Brad Whittup and map out a program for her.
I think she's done a job, to be fair.
Well, apparently he says he'd give up a lot of the money just to win a group race with her. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, it did win the inaugural or the time-honoured invitation there. $2 million
not a group race, though. Yeah, it's not a group race. So doesn't recognise it as stud. So they'll make an extra couple of mil if they can get a group race into her. Well, extra couple of mil, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the broodmare value will go through the roof if she can get some black type. Look, there's a horse here. If it hadn't a trial like a complete busted, I'd be all over it. Papalino, it's huge in its first start in Australia in the Eclipse Group 3, dying for a wet track. Blinkers go on. I think the blinkers weren't on the trial. It's 100 to 1. But, geez, I just can't back it off the trial. And, yeah, I just really couldn't. I tried to find Numerian. I tried to find Maximal. Maroney was good, but it was on 10, and I just don't know. So now Harmony Rose is gone. I'm not offering much.
Look, obviously it's a risk taking really heavy figures into account, and that Rose Hill track that Mount Popper won at last start before it had its run in the Sydney Cup, that was an 11.6 on our scale. Saying that, though, I thought Maroney sort of ran a very respectable race there, having its second run this preparation and its first run in Australia from New Zealand. I've got the horse on top. I think there's value in the price. I think it leads, and on that basis, I'm definitely going to have something on it. If it doesn't lead, then I suppose it's up for grabs between Numerian, Cryptogram, and Purple Sector. But in any case, it should get a nice trail. I thought Polly Gray, the horse that beat at home last start, had a genuine chance, and maybe on a slightly firmer track here, still gets a reasonable run in the race. I thought Ice Bath was under the odds. Maximal, I did go looking for Maximal, trying to find it, but I just can't get it anywhere near the market price. Totally against Brutality. In fact, it's embarrassing if I give you the price I've got for it. And other than that, I thought SD Thurney, who's a roughie in the race, who started cricket score odds behind Cherry Tortoni at Bendigo, ran a very nice race at its first start in Australia, the Hungarian horse. I should say the second start in Australia, because it did run at Canberra, I think, didn't it? Previously or prior to that. So, look, for me, it's Maroney. I'm going to back Maroney and Polly Gray, and I'm going to probably throw something at huge odds on SD Thurney and hopefully tie the race up. And as I said, Brutality, you can get on with me.
Lay at the place. Is that the play there?
Look, I generally don't do that, but yeah, I could. Look, I've got triple figures, guys. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's
triple figures.
Yeah, I know it's insane.
I just got excited about the race again. I love it.
There we go. Putting some layup on Betfair by the sounds of it. Get some money in.
Well, look, I mean, obviously you keep doing these things. One of them's going to win, but if I look at my record on these types of horses, not many do. So I'm happy to take the risk, and I do some strange things with my markets, but that's the way it's come out. I wouldn't say I've got enormous confidence in the race, but it is a 2,000 metre handicap, and some of these are a bit suspect. But I'm sort of going down that form line of those lightly raced ex-imports and Kiwis, and we'll see what happens. So 7 from 2 with something on the 10 as well. Now race 8 is our last look of the day, and of course we've got the all ages, isn't it, John?
Oh yeah, I was amazed by the size of the field here. You normally get small fields, I thought, for an all age, and I thought most of these sort of weight for age horses would be cooked, but we've got a big field. Forbidden Love $5, $5.50 in the Congo on the backup. Mawunga $5.50, Tefane $9.50, $12 Cascadian, $12 Nimley on the backup, $13 Ellsberg, 14 Sierra Sue, 17 Overpass, 19 Mr. Mozart, 19 Shelby 66, 21 Law of Indices, 26 Shout the Bar, 31 Hungry Heart, 41 Zatori, 61 Colding, and 101 The Annoying Horse Olmedo.
Jason, you want to start here? There's a bit of Melbourne influence and through some of these runners.
Yeah, I've found it extremely difficult, to be honest. I think there's going to be good speed. I don't think TC will be doing what the Myth did on In the Congo last week, and we shout the bar in there. Nash on Ellsberg. I'm thinking that there'll be pretty decent speed here, which will be good to have a nice, truly run 400 metre. I'm assuming Bowman's going to go forward on Forbidden Love. And, you know, if he gets trapped 3 wide, we'll probably want to press on, which may even give more speed in the race. So I'm thinking of a truly run. I found it a very, very even race, especially not knowing how dry the track's going to be at this stage. I'm sort of thinking it could get to a 5 or 6 by this stage. So ruling out sort of any wet track advantage of a horse like Cascadian is absolutely flying, but 1 and 1,400 metres I don't think suits. So what I've landed on is I just don't know if In the Congo's a myth. I know it beat Animo and in the Golden Rose, but it was Dynamite leaders that day. I'm just not sure about the horse anymore. And before I could back it again, I would need to see it win another good race. So as usual, I'm going to have a 2-bet strategy here. I thought the one at $26 that I spec'd, and it's still a good price now, is Sierra Sue. I like it that they've sort of put her away a little bit and just really targeted this race rather than running in the Doncaster. 1,400 metres her pet distance. She really needs cover, this horse, and when she gets cover, she gets a split, she can really eat the line. She's still around $15, $16 at the moment, and I think in a really even race, trying to seek some value, I thought she was a good chance. And the other one who I probably thought should be fave, again, but he's a myth written by the myth is Mwunga. Look, I think it's good to see him on a big track. I love the run of the Maccabi Diva Vine Incentivize. Then ran in the Epsom with top weight. I thought he was good. Cox Plate run was full of merit, and then in the McKinnon, just tremendous run. And then first up, Caulfield. And, not really a track I think that suits where he's beaten by Sierra Sue. So I'm really going in that Futurity Stakes form. I think he's had a little bit of a setback, but I think, they've targeted this race at the back of the spring. Still a stallion, looking to get another Group 1 here. So I'm going to back those 2 horses with not a huge amount of confidence, but there's sort of I could put a line through quite a few of the others here, just find reasons not to back them, not a line through them. So they're the 2 I'm going to back. Just feel they're sort of on the up rather than on the way down and being targeted at this race.
John?
They could absolutely rock it here with sort of Mr. Mozart, Forbidden Love drawn wide, Colding maybe wants to find a spot. Tefane won't want to be too far away, Shout the Bar. In the Congo will definitely be marked urgent. Ellsberg will want a spot. Overpass will want a spot. Amido will want a spot. So that makes it really ugly. And I'm a bit like you. I sort of default go back to Mwunga, but do I want to find him 7 weeks between runs with the mighty TB aboard? Not really. And I kind of came back to maybe In the Congo might just keep running, but I found it very, very hard. And the sort of way I do form, I thought Nimmerly had a good chance too. Just the good platform coming off. I thought she had a nice run last week. I love it when they sort of strong through the line, back up 7 days later, even back in trip. She could get a 3-wide trail and surprise as well with Damien Oliver aboard, but I thought it was very, very difficult.
For me, In the Congo is a risk this week in terms of price. I couldn't back it. I can see that there's only one way to ride this horse, and they've got to go forward, as you say, and mark it urgent. And I think that definitely cost it the race last week when I backed it. Forbidden Love, obviously back up in weight. It's some sort of hope, but Jesus, it's got a bit of a sticky map there early. What does it do? Mwanga, I can see it as a chance, but couldn't take the price hit. Look, my top pick in the race at a bit of value there is Nimalee, and the 25 to 1's gone, but it's still a reasonable. Well, I think it's a great price actually, and I'm definitely backing it. And I do agree with you, Jason. I think Sierra Sue's is a roughie in the race that you don't want to leave out. I'm definitely going to have something on it as well. Ellsberg, well, Jesus, it's been chewed up a bit now, hasn't it? What do we do with it? It's not totally hopeless in the race. I could see it as one of the place chances for sure. And outside that, I don't want to go far. So for me, I'm backing Nimalee and Sierra Sue. And can't take the favourites at the prices they are currently.
Can't knock
so
that.
pretty wide this week in terms of bets, and best bets. I suppose it's a bit harder. Guys, best bets? Anyone?
Not a huge amount of confidence at Randwick. I think the cases I've made. There's a few at double figures there that I'll be backing each way. I mean, you could say Straight Aaron looks the best, but $2, and I do really think Raging Bull's got a chance at $16 in that race. So again, I got really burnt by late in the day by track pattern last week. I didn't handle it that well. So Amy, I think you mentioned earlier, really watch the pattern on a drawing track. There can be lanes. Watch those first few races and then adjust and bet accordingly from there.
Look, I think if the track's fair, then Straight Aaron I would say is my best. If it's not, then I probably won't even back it. So keep an eye on that. Outside that, I think we're playing wide and going for value this week, and it's definitely a harder program to win at, I think. So that's it for this week.
Luke and Nimalee each way if you have to play.
Yeah.
Tough.
Okay, guys. Thanks very much. John, you and I will be back on Monday to review all the action I assume Monday's okay. Is it Easter Monday?
Mate, I'm easy. Every day's the same in this household. I don't know whether you're conquering another suburb or not, but I'll be here.
No, my wife said to me, she said, Monday's Easter Monday. I said, so what? Races are on. And look, they're racing in Victoria, aren't they? Good Friday? Racing in
Good Friday. The new race and sale, the $500,000 sprint. It's a fantastic race. I like Lombardo there in that race. Showmanship's coming back from a long injury. So a lot of depth to the meeting overall and to that race. It's been fantastic, and hopefully it's really good for the Sale area. But yeah, it's a deep weekend as well. We've got Caulfield on Saturday, which is the Victoria Handicap and the Easter Cup. So 2 Group 3 races there with a lot of depth, and they're excellent betting races. So
did you have something you wanted to throw out there, Jason, in particular?
The Victoria Handicap, I'm strong against the 2 favourites. So Ayrton's coming back from a redback spider bite. Barrier 2, I just don't think it suits at all. It's 7-4, and Kiss on All 4 Cheeks, they brought up for the Doncaster and ran on a 10. So they're the only 2 under double figures. So looking to back I Am Superman back on the dry, 1,400. Love it at double figures. Aramayo's another horse Wallace taken there. It's drawn a bit sticky in 15, but it's $35. I'll be backing it. Foxy Frida's a very, very smart mare who I'm keen to back as well. So there's some big prices there that I'll be making a book around in that race. If one of the favourites wins, so be it. But pretty keen to have a bet.
I think he came out publicly, didn't he? Mick Price, and said that it's very vulnerable to Ayrton, so you'd expect it to be pretty soft in the market. Probably a good time to bet early around it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Righto, guys. We'll see you Monday, John. Thanks, Jason, for your time again this week. Hopefully we'll get some gold for you, punters. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.